With Paul Geddes of Nano One. Paul, it's great to see you.
Thanks, Matt.
So here we are at Hannover Messe. Paul, could you just give me a bit of an overview of what Nano One is and your role in the supply chain?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Nano One is a processing technology company. We've developed an innovative new methodology on how to make cathode active materials. Cathode is the largest cost piece in a lithium-ion battery cell. The materials that go into it, we assemble the lithium, the nickel, the manganese, the cobalt, or the lithium, the iron, and the phosphorus into an active material that can be used in the battery. Cathode materials sort of sit between the mining side, where we take the raw materials, and the battery cell manufacturers. So we would take those raw materials, turn it into active material, and move it on down the supply chain to a battery cell company, who then would wrap it up into a cell and move it on to an OEM or an end consumer user.
And so we're at Hannover Messe, and I'm curious to hear from you what your experience has been so far and why it's important for Nano One to be here.
Yeah, it's great coming over to Europe and to Hannover Messe. The Europeans have really bought into the whole electrification movement. Everything from the supply chain, the governments, and the financing industries. They understand it a lot better. They've committed to it, and they're really supporting it. And we're seeing that here at Hannover Messe with integrations of battery companies and companies like Siemens, and seeing the government officials kind of work and support that system here. I think it's important to learn from what they're doing here because they seem to be doing it right. In North America, we're a little further behind on the progress on that, particularly on the investment side of things. We tend to think more short-term on that side, and I think this is a long play, and we need to look at it from a long play sort of point of view. Taking what they've learned here and applying it in North America, in Canada, I think is critically important. And not to go down a path making mistakes and then very costly trying to redo them and fix them. Right. Let's watch how the people have done it, learn from their progress and how they're doing it, and let's adopt those good best practice philosophies here in Canada.
And last question, so we've seen quite a number of anchor investments into Canada over the last couple of years. Nano One is a great Canadian success story in the midstream. I'm curious for your thoughts around how Nano One can play into kind of this larger battery plant in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. This role of transition as these companies are trying to bridge the gap and to get into this electrification, government plays a key role in trying to support that. A big part of that, and they've led by some anchor investments, as you just said, with the OEMs, the big gigafactories, the partnerships on that side, which is fantastic because it sets the end goal. But they need to support all the way down. Just keep that good momentum going and support the midstream, support the cathode active material makers that are going to supply these things. Otherwise, we're just going to be shipping off our materials offshore to buy it back at a value add. We could do it here much, much better, more sustainably, and do it right in the first place. So we've had support from the Canadian government, which has been great to get us to the point we are. Obviously, as a small company growing, those asks are going to become bigger, and we look to the government to support us to bridge that gap before we can get to revenue and get important to that. So for us, that's an important factor, and keeping that momentum going, that investment going, and securing what's going to be an industry that can support Canadians from the work side of things, but just innovation, thought leadership, and so on. It's here for the next 30, 40 years. It's a great investment to put that into.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.